Hey there, guys. It is October the 2nd. That means we are officially just 1 month away from the Longshot Men's Retreat and its commencement. I'm getting really excited about the retreat. There are a lot of good things going on, a lot of awesome new people signing up, and they're really making you guys from last year kind of look bad because they're actually signing up and paying, and you guys from last year are not. So actually, reason for this video is one, to kind of get you guys ramped up and excited and let you know what's going on with the retreat. And two, to kind of spur you on to go ahead and get your money in and get registered on the website that I have that I've set up at eventbrite.com, which I am showing right here. You need to take a look at that, get online and pay for your registration. If you are uncomfortable doing a payment online, or you don't think you know how, or you can't set up a PayPal account, or whatever the reason is, and you want to just pay me directly through a check, you can do that as well. And I will give you those instructions in an email where to send that. Anyway, reason for this video, I want to let you guys know that things are going well, things are getting set up, and we should have an event that is going to match and hopefully even outdo last year's event. One of the greatest things about the retreat this year is that we are going to have one presenter, Pastor Mike Newman, who is just a phenomenal speaker, phenomenal author, and is going to be presenting to us about Satan's lies to men, the kind of things that Satan gets us to believe and causes us to have guilt about, that really cause us to be not the men that God wants us to be. Put together a little video here for you about some of what we'll be talking about. I want you to take a look at that and then listen to the rest for some instructions on how to prepare for the retreat. So the other day, my kids come home from school. One of my kids tells me that there's this other kid at school who he described as his arch enemy. Arch enemy, pretty big language. I had to laugh, actually. I probably shouldn't have. But I had to laugh. It's not language that we normally use about other people. We have people we don't like. We've got people that make us mad. We've got people we wish we didn't have to hang out with or be around. We don't usually think of ourselves as having arch enemies. I mean, we're not Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. You know, we don't have these people or monsters that are just out to get us, that whose every move is to vanquish us, whose every move is to make sure our life is miserable, or whose every move is to make sure that we die. We get this idea of enemies from comic books and superheroes, and we begin to think of enemies as something that is fantastic, something that is fictional, something that is the stuff of children's movies. But is it? The Bible tells us about enemies. The Bible tells us that enemies are real. Not just enemies here on earth, but supernatural enemies. So I started to think, do we have enemies? Do we really have anything to worry about? I mean, we hear in church all the time how God is on our side. So do we really have enemies to worry about? Is there anything that's out to get us? Is there anything that we should be hiding from, running from, standing up to? Every now and then. Maybe not often enough. We talk about the devil in our church. We talk about Satan. We know he's a bad guy. We know he does bad stuff. But he's kind of got this image of being one of these fictional, fantastical supervillains. We don't see him. We don't see this guy with a forked tongue and a pointy tail and horns walking around trying to persuade us to the dark side. And so we dismiss him. Dismissing your enemies is a dangerous thing to do. Ask any military person. When you underestimate your enemy, you've already lost the battle. In our church, in our spiritual life, I think we often underestimate our enemy. We often fail to realize that there is someone out to get us all the time. This someone who's out to get us has been called by God the father of lies. Satan is called the father of lies. His best work is done when he is deceiving us into thinking we're doing something good that actually draws us further away from God. The Shepherd's Psalm, Psalm 23. It's often used in funerals, and it's used as a very comforting psalm. But there's one verse in there that says, He prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. What's that all about? Why would God prepare for us a table, a banquet, a feast in the presence of our enemies? Does God set us up in the presence of our enemies? What kind of reaction does God expect of us in the presence of our enemies? What has been our history in the presence of our enemies? When we're confronted by the enemy, Satan, how do we react? Do we stay for the meal? Do we stay and fight? Do we run away?